Hey, it's John here with the Experts Launchpad. Let me just go ahead and make sure that the sound is coming through okay in the Facebook group so that I can make sure you all are hearing me okay. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the Facebook group here real quick. We're using Zoom to broadcast over to the Facebook group. Looks like my broadcast has started inside of the Experts group. Perfect. Hopefully you all can hear me okay. Let's go ahead and delete that. All right, so let me go ahead and here we go. I'm going to close that down. Perfect. So if you guys can please just type in the chat that you can hear me okay. And I got my little presentation board here. I'm going to try something a little different within Zoom. Streaming from Zoom, their webinar platform, to the Facebook group here. I got a couple of talking points up on the little whiteboard inside of Zoom here. So if you could just say hi in the chat. I went ahead and muted myself. Ken Wells, thank you. Umberto, thank you so much. Perfect. So I'll go ahead and just jump on into this. Looks like we got a few people piling in, but please say hi in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me okay. Sounds like we're all good. So anyway, this is the first live stream that I've done for the Experts Launchpad group. It's a brand new group. The focus of the group, again, is on helping you kind of fine-tune the fundamental steps of building an expert business. So what is an expert business? And some of you might ask that. Well, basically what it is the ability for you to take your knowledge, your IP that's in your head, unpack that, and create programs like coaching programs, consulting programs, courses, materials all around your unique expertise. And so when I say expert business in this group, that's what I'm talking about, particularly making money online with your expertise. So you might be a coach, consultant, speaker, course creator, whoever. That's who I'm speaking to here during this presentation. I'm not talking about e-commerce businesses or physical product businesses or how to start a brick and mortar business and those type of things. It's all about how to make money with your message online as a subject matter expert. So that's really why I'm hosting this. Is to try to boil this down, because I'm obsessed with the steps that it takes. I've been online for over 5 years now, probably more like 6 years. I've followed all the rabbit holes. I've launched a book. I've created summits and courses and all kinds of stuff. And I'm always kind of looking back and I see all the confusion in people's eyes, and we see all the flashy funnels in the news feed and things like that. But where do we really truly start? And of course, there are some variations in everybody's journey, but there are truly some core steps that you should take as an expert, depending on where you are in your journey. You shouldn't be trying to copy right out the gate the top guru's fancy funnel or chatbot or something like that. So that's the intention of this presentation. I want to walk you through the first 3 phases of an expert journey, taking you basically from zero to around $500,000 in revenue. And my partner Cody and I, we took our agency through these first 3 stages in about 4 months last year with some fast growth. So I've had this experience myself. I work with a lot of clients who are much beyond the $500,000 range. And so I get to see kind of and analyze what works and what doesn't work, what should you do and when. And so that's really what this discussion is about, is what to do at what point in your journey so that we can maybe boil some things down a little bit. So let me just check in on the Facebook group there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. At the end of this presentation, I am going to talk a little bit about a brand new group program that I'm putting together. I'm calling the Experts Launchpad 8-week profit sprints. So I'm going to be taking a small group of experts in who want to build this kind of business and really ramp them up through the dream up phase and into the startup phase in just 8 weeks. So if you're interested in that, helping you create a high-end offer, selling that high-end offer and fulfilling that high-end offer, then put a 4 in the comments at any time during this presentation. Put a 4 in the comments at any time during this presentation, and I will reach out to you with more information. So let's go ahead and get started then. Let's start with the dream up phase. So I'm borrowing this terminology from Todd Herman, who is a brilliant business strategist. He has a great blog post I shared in the group on the 5 phases of a business. And of course, he works with more corporate types and larger businesses. So what I've done is borrowed some of his bucket phraseology and assimilated that into a a expert business model. So, and again, we talked about what that is. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to see how this tech works. This is my first time doing this sort of quasi PowerPoint here. Is the dream up phase. So this is the point where you just have an idea. You're not sure if it's going to fly. And by the way, whenever you start a new offer or a new product, you're at the dream up phase. I'm in the dream up phase right now for my Experts Launchpad program. I'm testing to see what the interest is and all those things, and just starting to book calls and bring in money and stuff like that. So, so this is for you if you're launching a new business or a new offer. And hopefully you all can see that. If not, I'll verbally say it. It might be a little small in the print. Let me go over to the group real quick and just see what that looks like over there. Yeah, it looks like you guys can see that okay. Looks like y'all can see that okay. Welcome, welcome. Frank, what's up, buddy? Ken, Maya, good to hear from you. So anyway, so the first thing here is really the key words are to validate and conversate. Validate the idea and conversate with people in your ideal market. And the key steps here are really it starts with, let's see if this works here. It starts with the who, and my good friend Adam Urbanski says this best. The who will drive the what and the why. The who will drive the what and the why. And so you need to figure out who your customer persona is. I know you guys are probably like, boring, right? Roll your eyes and all that kind of stuff. And I get that. I feel the same way. It's not my favorite part to like be patient and take some time and look at this stuff. But if we don't know who we're talking to, we just aren't. You could put the perfect offer, the perfect everything in front of that person, and you're screwed. It just doesn't matter. No one really cares, that you have the world's best, elephant for their circus if they don't run a circus, So that's really the first key step there is that. Beyond that, other things you want to do here, get on the phone with people. Get on the phone with some of your potential customers and really dig into what they're doing. Ask them good questions. What are their challenges? What keeps them up at night? How do they feel about this or that? Like having some conversations with your market is so underrated. And I know we're all afraid to kind of get on the phone with people. We need to kind of get past that because you'll get some insights that are just amazing. You can use something like call recording apps on your phone to record the calls and take notes. Surveys are another one, although not as effective. I do this when I'm coming up with a new idea. I'll send out surveys and things like that to my list or things like that in order to garner some opinions from them. Then what we want to do is create a framework. I've used that word a lot. I'm not the only one who uses it, but it's a good way to put it. Your framework is so foundational for your business, for your offerings. It's really your IP. It's really your unique process to get people from point A to point B. It's how you get people results. So, if you're a Facebook ads agency, for example, you might have this whole process laid out from when you acquire a client till when you get that client the result. And that's sort of your unique mechanism, your unique framework for working with that person. If you're a coach, you might have a 6-step system or process to take people through. Another way to put this is your signature system, right? So you should have a process in place, and this will change and refine over time. As I'm putting together the materials for the group coaching program for the Experts Launchpad, the Profit Sprint that I'm hosting later this month, I'll be starting that. I have a framework that I've laid out of every step and everything I want to do to help them, get the results, which is ultimately making a good influx of cash quickly while validating a new high-end offer. That's really what the program will do. So I've laid out all the steps right there and you can just use a Google document. It's that simple to do. All right, let's come down here a little further. So if anyone has any questions on that, feel free to put in the comments. I will circle back later today and answer questions and things like that. Then you want to come up with your initial offer, and I want to spend a little bit of time on this. The initial offer is huge. You could have the world's best ideas, but if your offer sucks, it just doesn't matter. No one wants it. I recommend that you start with a high-end offer. A high-end offer, and even a one-on-one offer if you need to, if you're newer in a certain industry. Why? I know it's not the scalable, sexy Facebook ad feed ninja funnel that you're seeing all the time, But what it does is it allows you to really get to know your market. It allows you to charge more money. People will pay you more to coach them one-on-one for a little bit. People will pay you more to work with them. You'll be able to bring in cash quicker, and then you can quickly branch out into more leveraged models down the road. Some of you on this call are going to be at different phases. Some of you are already doing one-on-one. You already know your market well. Then you might be ready to do a group program or to launch a more leveraged course or something like that. But for most people here, and we're talking about most people in this phase, I'm speaking to the beginner who has a new idea, who wants to validate that idea. Get close to people. High-end offers are I'm definitely sold on that. My dream business would just be to have a handful of high-end clients, as well as some other more passive income streams. But it's just so much nicer to be able to make large chunks of money quicker. You can reinvest then in your business, all those things. So low ticket, just take a note of this, low ticket items, low priced items are only going to work if you have a lot of traffic or a big audience. If you don't get a lot of website traffic from Google, for example, or you don't have a big email list or big affiliate partner groups, you're just not going to make enough money. I talk to people all the time in this space who they're struggling along and they're selling, $30 membership sites or, $100 courses and things like that. And it's just really hard to get that many customers in a year to make good money. I mean, I would personally rather bring on 20 clients a year at $5,000 plus to make six figures than I would, having to sell a course through a complicated funnel and things like that, and bring in thousands of customers to make any money. It's just a rule of thumb is that the higher you can charge, the simpler your business can be. The higher you can charge, the simpler your business can be. Because you don't need a lot of fancy bells and whistles to bring in good money. You can simply just, you need some lead generation, of course, and things like that. And there's some systems we'll touch on in a moment. But, the higher you can charge, the less you need a lot of upsell, downsell, side sell, 3-tiered survey funnels and things like that I've built actually for myself. And it just makes it more complicated. So anyway, that's my spiel on high-end offers. That's why I'm leading a program at the end of the month on that, because I just think it's one of the fastest ways. It's often missing for people. And you'd be shocked if people add that to their income, how much it explodes their business. So your initial offering, I recommend a high-end offer. When I say high-end in the B2C space, $2,000, $3,000 up to $10,000 plus. And you got to work on your value proposition, your messaging, your pricing. All of those things are huge. I would say your value proposition, having a strong value proposition, is probably 80% of it. The message is maybe another 20%, 20%. I guess that'd be the only other remaining ratio available to me. So if you have a good value proposition, you could mess up a lot of things and still bring in customers because what you have is good. So working hard to really get clear on that is something we're going to dive deep into in our training program later this month. That's so important. Then I like to create a sell sheet. So what I say a sell sheet, it's basically like a Google document that has your entire program, all the details and everything listed, basically like a sales page, like a bootlegged sales page, so to speak, where it's just basically maybe an 8 to 10 page document that lists who this is for, who this isn't for, who you are, the components of the program, the big benefits of the program. It has a strong lead to gather interest. It has social proof in it. Basically all the marketing 101 elements. If someone asks, hey, do you have more information, or, that kind of thing, you can just slip them that document. They instantly will understand your offering. And it's a great way to preemptively get them in the know, so to speak, before you get them on the phone with you. All right, let me pull this down a little more. And then you're just booking calls and offering your program. It's really that simple. If you're a believer in the high-end offer, there's nothing sexy. You don't need any, websites or business cards or anything like that at this point. You just need to go out and have the courage to go out and get on the phone with people. It's really that simple. So the the key actions for this part are booking calls and making sales. You got to find out, about your market at an intimate level. You got to get on the phone with them, and you got to make a sale or two. You got to make some sales. If you, in this phase, you should be looking to make your first 4 or 5 sales, right? To kind of get, people into flow with you. You're validating the offer, you're bringing on some customers and all those type of things. So that was kind of the big chunky part. These other ones will go a little quicker, but the dream up phase is sort of that foundational part that most of us like to skip over, and we like to go right over into like the ramp up phase on the right here, or the scale up phase, which is beyond that. So just wanted to spend some time talking about the merits of a high-end offer, some of the things you should be putting in place for your business early in this journey. So go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments below if you're at this stage. I'm over here at the Facebook group again. Looks like we got a few people tuning in. Welcome everybody. Hey Roy, Bo, nice. Bo, high-end offer, I would say B2C is between, it varies a little bit by the market, but around $3,000 to $10,000 is a high-end offer. Yeah. And most of you, if you're in the human transformational space, like if you're in business, dating, you're in health and transformation and things like that, you can package your services for that price, and the right people will buy it. So anyway, hopefully my picture's not stuck there. I'm going to come back over here. Are you guys, everyone seeing this okay? You could let me know in the chat here. I'm going to go on to the second phase now, which is cool. So a couple 1s in the group, no problem. Everyone's hearing me okay? Looks like my picture might be a little stalled there. Hopefully I didn't stall out there. Let me know in the comments if you can still hear me, see me okay in the Facebook group here. Looks like we're good here. Perfect. Good so far. Cool. Yeah, I haven't used Zoom in a while, so I haven't done any live webinars in a while either, really. It's been mostly behind the scenes stuff, right? Like the non-sexy, non-look at me stuff for the last year or so. So learned a lot and continuing to learn a lot, but this is some really fundamental stuff. Like this is like more than your 2K course right here. If you'll implement this stuff, I mean, dramatic differences. I mean, I've had single conversations with people. They added a high-end offer to their business and made 30 grand in the next couple of weeks and stuff like that. I mean, when you really have the offer and the foundation in place, your business is set to really succeed. All right, so let's go on to the startup phase. So most people think, oh, I'm just starting out. I'm in the startup phase. Well, not really. You're just in the dream up phase. And again, I'm borrowing these from Todd Herman, brilliant business guy, and kind of assimilating his framework into the expert business arena. So in this phase, let's say you're 25K to 100K, a year. This is a year, by the way. I should have noted that, but you're making some money. You validated your idea. The key words here are, again, market, sell, fulfill. Market, sell, fulfill. You've got to be out there continually selling. It's something that I know some of us are very comfortable with. Some of us are not comfortable with. I wouldn't say selling is my strongest point, although I have closed $20,000 deals on the phone this past year. And we did very well with that service, or that strategy of getting people on the phone and offering. We were doing done for you services last year, and so getting good at marketing, selling, and fulfilling is really this next phase. So, and you have to keep focused on marketing and selling. If you're doing anything other than marketing and selling your new thing, at this point, you're pretty much just hiding or wasting time. Again, you don't necessarily need fancy websites and things like this. And again, I'm speaking to experts, so coaches, consultants, agency, people like that. I mean, there's people that have no websites that have 7-figure businesses, and I know them. They're like friends of mine. So you got to be willing to, I don't even like the word, but hustle a little bit and get out there and have the courage to take no's, to learn, to improve, to sell, to get better at selling. It's just a must. It's just a must if you're going to do it. All right, so key steps in the startup phase: get really good at enrollment calls. So when I say enrollment calls, I mean conversations with clients. This is something I'm still working on. I hired a coach this year as well to continue to improve my enrollment calls. I tend to like to teach, and even on enrollment calls, instead of framing them correctly, I tend to dive into John helps everybody mode, which I really enjoy doing. If I could have my dream situation, I would just help people all the time with this stuff and talk on phones and that kind of stuff. I have had to learn to sell more. I don't have a sales background or anything like that. but I've gotten better at the process. And so you'll need to get good at enrolling people on the phone. And the thing with that is it goes back to the first phase. You have to have a strong value proposition. And that'll do most of the heavy lifting for you. Although there are some strategies that I'm currently learning and have learned for enrolling more people that I'm going to be sharing in the group program that I'm going to be hosting later this month. Again, if you're interested at all in that, drop a 4 at any time, whether you're listening to the replay or not, and I'll give you more information. All right, so at this point, we also need to, let's go over here, develop systems, kind of a bulky little text here, but you get the point. So you need to develop marketing systems at this point, and I don't mean elaborate funnels and stuff. I posted on Facebook recently that if you're not making 200 grand, you shouldn't have a funnel. I should have specified that a little bit more. I agree with that. I don't think you should be, focusing on complication at this point. But I think that, you should have some basic lead generation systems in place. Referral systems, are you going to give a percentage to partners? Again, a lot of this goes back to networking and continuing to kind of hit the pavement, so to speak, at this stage. Basic lead generation from paid traffic. So if you have a budget, some of us have bigger budgets than others. If you do have a budget for paid traffic, that will speed up your journey, so to speak, right? You can get your stuff in front of more people. And then hopefully at this point, let's say you've made 50 grand or 100 grand or, 70 grand on your new offering. You can then invest some of that money in some paid traffic and things like that to bring in more leads and book more phone calls and those type of things for your business. So I'm not opposed to funnels earlier in the journey. Again, some of us have the budgets. Some of us are really bootstrapped and don't. So if you do have a budget, you can set up some kind of basic lead generation systems. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I mean, a basic, opt-in page. You can try some retargeting stuff on the front end with video ads and building custom audiences and things like that. Although, again, some of us on here have better skills at that stuff than others. When I say that, some people's heads will spin off their necks when I say that kind of stuff. So the more I do this, the more I'm trying to simplify everything for people. So that they don't get caught up in the complication. But a basic lead generation system, outreach is still, I'm on, I have a 3-hour block today on my calendar just to do outreach. I'll probably talk to 20 people or so on Messenger. I have a couple phone calls booked and things like that. So, outreach is huge. Just reaching out, building conversations. I was just at Traffic and Conversion Summit with a lot of great people. And one of the takeaways that I believe it was Ryan Dice, the owner of the company, said is that conversations are the new leads. And so things like Messenger are becoming more popular and prevalent. And even just just having conversations with people. And it's not scalable. Again, we're not at really the whole heavy scale up phase yet, but it's kind of that groundwork kind of stuff that you should be willing to do in the beginning, before you make money. I think it was Marissa Murgatroyd. I was reading some of her stuff. She said, and she had a great quote. She said, "Before you make money in your sleep, make money when you're awake." And I really like that saying because, God, we're all tempted to, the dream is just to kind of lay back and have some money rolling in for a lot of people. And a lot of it's a pipe dream, in most cases. There's always a few unicorns, but, and you can get to that point more and more, but, it's a little bit of a disservice at this stage to start thinking about that. Oh, I want more passive income. I want all this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's the best way to think at this point at all. So, keep outreaching, networking, starting a Facebook group. I've been a fan of that. I've had a couple different groups over the last couple of years. I had a webinar mastery group when I was all in on that. I'm still doing webinar stuff for people, for clients as needed, but I feel like there's a big need for this sort of foundational stuff. So that's why I'm doing this project and testing the response to it and those type of things. So I think, having a Facebook group where you can bring people in, obviously I have an advantage, I can send out one email and put 100 people in a group and, having, a group of people where you can interact, Facebook is really good for that. It's really good for engaging. So consider doing that as well. I consider raising your prices. So this is something, as you're selling and you're enrolling clients and maybe you've sold 5 or 6 or 7, keep inching those prices up, and again, the more you can make, the simpler your business can be. The more you can make, the more you can reinvest into your movement as an expert. And so keep inching those prices up. If you start at $2,000 or $3,000, or even lower in some niches, keep inching that up. Keep inching it up, and until you feel like the market is really pushing back. If you have let's just put it this way: if you have an 80% close rate on the phone, I talked to a guy. He said, he's like, I think I had like an 80% phone close, and I'm like, really? It's like, you should be raising your prices then, because there should be a balance between some pushback and but keep raising your prices there, until you feel like you can't go anymore, or you feel like there's a ceiling there. And look at your competitors, what they're charging too. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you should be aware of your market. All right. So then develop systems for fulfillment. So as we're doing this, like, this is something that we did during our agency, and we grew way fast, was to document stuff. And I was the one who did that. I'm not the best speller. I make a lot of errors there, but I was getting basic SOPs, which are standard operating procedures, together. So if you're at this stage, you are looking to bring some people on, maybe you're going to hire a VA at this point, or something like that, to help you with your calendars, or maybe client fulfillment or happiness and stuff. So you want to be documenting the repetitive stuff that you're doing, so that when you are getting ready to hire, which you should be looking at towards the end of this phase, you're ready to bring someone on who can help you. And so documentation of kind of the mundane stuff is really important. All right, so the key actions again. There we go. Okay, key actions are market and sell. Like, at this phase, if you're really not focused on anything other than marketing yourself and selling yourself, outreach, networking, basic lead gen, systems and referrals, those type of things, and get help when you need it. At this phase, you're going to start looking at bringing on a team member for your business to help you. You validated your idea. It's selling decently well. You're making some money. You're going to, need a little bit of help as you continue to look to bring in leads and things like that. This is a good time to do that. So how many of you here are in phase 2 of this journey? Phase 2 of the journey. Let me come back to the Facebook group here. And all right. Yeah, looks like it's actually working. All right. Zoom didn't fail me today. A little, my high-tech slide deck here, right? I put that together for about 30 minutes before. But how many of you here are in the second phase of your expert's journey? You validated your idea. You're making maybe $25,000 to $100,000 a year in your business now, and you are looking to do the things at that phase you need to do in order to get to the next phase, which is really the ramp up phase, which is more growth and scaling and those type of things. So anyway, looks like Mark's in there. Ken, what's up, Ken? Yeah, dreamers. Yeah, some of them are. There's a lot of dreamers in the space, not a lot of workers sometimes, unfortunately, because I think they read Tim Ferriss's book and thought they could just throw up a drop shipping site or something. There's a lot. I'll be the first to confess, I don't know everything about the online world. I'm not. There's people I'm sure that make a ton of money. I talked to a guy at Traffic and Conversion. He made a good amount of money buying and selling textbooks, and he was making an arbitrage in the middle. I'm like, no kidding, huh? So there's lots of ways to make money out there. I'm not aware of them all. There's a lot of ways to do things out there, but this is just from my experience and from researching the market of what, if you're looking to build an expert business, meaning to make money with your message online, that these are some of the steps to follow through. So anyway, so we've covered the dream up phase, the startup phase, and now we're on to the ramp up phase. And again, as far as timeline on this, sometimes you can go from dream up to startup to ramp up really fast. Our agency last year, we went from dream up to ramp up in about maybe a little more than 3 months. So it was, and we had an unfair advantage. We had a lot of connections and email lists and stuff like that. So, but for you, typically, this is going to take a little bit of time. You might get into the startup phase at the end of year 1, and that's okay. The big thing, sometimes you'll get stuck in the dream up phase for a while, Like I'm in the dream up phase with my experts, launchpad kind of project that I'm doing here with people. And so we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't hit or there's not enough interest, I'll go back to the drawing board. I've launched a lot of different programs, group programs over the last few years. Some of them were terrible ideas, and they never got out of this dream up phase. Now, a few of them did, and went from into the startup phase and then into the ramp up phase. Things change, market dynamics change. I had a partnership that unfortunately didn't work out last year, so those are all factors that affect all of this. But as far as the ramp up phase goes, let's go into that. So let me just click on this. So the keywords, kind of scrunched here on the end, I ran out of room, are to organize and create. Organize and create. So what do we want to do here? Again, I'll talk kind of big level. This is where you can get into like your automated sales funnels and stuff like that. So you're making some money at this point. You're a 6-figure business in revenue, at least. At this point, your profit margins are probably pretty good. Ours were close to 70% last year. And part of the problem was I was doing too much in the business and didn't bring on team and organize quick enough to help. Now, if someone wants a webinar from me, I have people I can reach out to that will actually write the script for me after we have a strategy session together for clients. So I don't have to do all of the work as much anymore. Because you get to this point where you're growing fast and then, oh my God, there's a lot of work. We need to bring in people and hire people and all that kind of stuff. It can become very stressful. And you got, as the owner, you probably have a certain skill set. You're either maybe you're the marketer type, or maybe you're the organization type, or the paid traffic person, or the funnel person, or whatever your business is. But at this point, this is where you can start look at, like if you're really going to grow, you do need funnels. So I know people, we joke about it. My friend Adam Urbanski, who I'm working with too, he says, fuck the funnels, right? Fuck the funnels. And I get that, and that's true to an extent, because most people like to start and they're basically starting in the ramp up phase, or they want to start in the ramp up phase where they're needing all of this stuff, because you see your mentors and your people you look up to, and they got just awesome sites and funnels, and they're spending money on ads, and you see them everywhere and all those kind of things. But they didn't start that way. They didn't start that way. Most of them spent years figuring it out. It's a lot easier now. Like they have actual trainings for this stuff. Now there's more competition now, of course. You actually have to be good and care about people now. But anyway, people like to start in the ramp up phase, and it's a huge mistake. So yeah, this is where you can start doing like automated webinar funnels and things like that we were building for clients last year. Most of our clients were in that range or above. Some of them were making over $1 million plus. There were some we talked to. We had like over 130 or so applications last year. And some of the businesses were even like at 500,000 a month, and they didn't even have a paid traffic funnel. It was all like just a great high-end service. It was like a 25K service. And they just got word of mouth like crazy, like word of mouth, content marketing, kind of this grassroots stuff. And they were up to that point. Now, of course, at some point, you're going to want to bring in more automation so that you don't have to just constantly be outreaching, searching, doing all this stuff, right? You want to get to that point. So that is roughly the time that I would consider that. Of course, there are some exceptions to the rule. But for most of you, this is a good thing to follow. You're going to look to expand your team again and really get things dialed in. If you're, in the services business, certainly, you're going to need to have people in place that, a project manager is a huge thing. People that can help with tech, internal operations, external operations, paid traffic. This is where you start building your team. And a lot of times your profit margins will drop, but you'll be able to continue to kind of grow and not kill yourself. Otherwise, you're going to burn out. You'll burn out at this phase a little bit more, and it sucks. Like I'm still kind of recovering a little bit from last year because I got too caught into the business. And let's see what else here. Yeah, and this is where you can start, like from an expert's perspective, creating new offers. I think this is important to do. I know that a lot of people are big on the one offer for a long time. I think there's truth to that. Many of us may have heard the whole one product, 1 year kind of situation. And that can be very true depending on how quickly you move through this process. But at some point you will need to create new offers. I have a client in Hong Kong right now who's doing automated evergreen webinars. He's to about 50 grand a month now, and all from one offer. So he kind of followed that whole one offer, one year thing. But now it's time to create new offers. So if he wants to get up into the 7-figure range, he's gonna create another offer and do a similar process. Go through validating it, doing some live stuff, all those kind of things, and going into that process. So anyway, that is what I got here. Let me just go ahead and get rid of that. So basically the key actions at this point are to create new offers and look to grow and scale up. And this is another scary phase that has all kinds of different implications and things like that. Beyond this is kind of the authority phases. And, I think a lot of people, they want to create a book. They want to be seen on PR and media and stuff like that. Sometimes that will help them go viral and be the good start. But for most of us, we have to kind of go through this grunt work of kind of, it's not sexy, but, kind of coming up with an idea, validating the idea, marketing and selling that idea consistently, kind of, again, some people have more money to invest in ads and funnels and things earlier than others. But a lot of it is just manual kind of digging in the trenches for a while until you can figure out what you got. And then you can come in and bring in, funnels and things like that. And beyond that, be everywhere kind of thing. Like a lot of the big celebrities you'll see in your space they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on TV, they're all over the place. They have a book and, all kinds of stuff. And that would sort of be, for me at least, beyond that ramp up phase is like, okay, we're ramping up, we're making good money. Let's really just blow this off. We already have a back end that's converting. Now let's blow the top off this thing, and I've not gotten to that point yet. I'm still in this sort of ramping up sort of model as far as income and things like that. But I've worked with people who are, at that phase where they're, making multiple 7 figures and they're, really ramping up their celebrity status all over the place, and you just see them everywhere. Most people want to skip to that because that's the exciting part, right? Like they hate this dream up and startup stuff. They just want to get to ramping up, scaling up, and really just blowing up, the whole process for them. But for most people, that's not the case. Most people are not going to start with that. And so for me, like starting, worrying about being on, media outlets and stuff like that in the beginning really isn't a priority for me. It's really getting this foundational stuff in place, because you can get all this. I mean, trust me, I have a friend who's had 30 million views to his blog, 30 million. And he's, he's not making as much money as he could, certainly. He's got a ton of PR, and he's a great friend. I love him. Hopefully he's not watching this, but we're doing some work together now. But he's got all these blog posts and tons of visits and all that kind of stuff, but he's got no back end to the offerings. And so without that back end piece, all this PR attention and all this fancy, frothy, kind of frosty stuff isn't going to really do much for you. And that's been the experience that I've seen from working with experts for, over 5 years now. So anyway, hope this was helpful, and I'll shoot over to the Facebook group again here. Still got like 14 people watching me. Wow. Okay. Very cool. Ken, Mark, Roy, Maya. Hi, Maya. Hope you're doing well again. Looks like you had Leslie even coming on. Talk about someone who's dynamic. Leslie, Danielle Leslie is killing it right now with the webinar stuff. But anyway, that was my presentation for you today. Again, I am leading a small group around this process. So we're going to take you from, depending either if you need to create a high-end offer, or if you have a high-end offer and you want to ramp that up into the startup phase really quickly, bring in more cash quickly. I am leading a small group discussion later this month. It's going to be an 8-week, what I'm calling profit sprint, where I'm going to be working with experts in particular to help them craft that high-end offer and strong value proposition, pricing, messaging, all of that stuff, right? Because that is really the foundation. Without that stuff, you're totally screwed in your business. We're going to help you book more phone calls from your audience, and then we're going to help you to sell that offer on the phone. So very, very basic, no technology type funnel situation here. And then from there, you can start ramping it up. So if you want to go really from, a new idea with a high-end offer, which is huge, through the dream up phase into the startup phase with a strong foundation, and this program is going to be perfect for you. So if you're interested in learning more, I do have my own sell sheet that I can send to you if you're interested. So if you're watching this live, or if you're looking at the replay, which I'm sure a number of you do, most people watch these as a replay, comment 4, and just type a 4 in the chat, in the comments below. I will reach out to you with more information if you'd like to see more information about really exploding your expert business with a high-end offer and some basic core fundamental stuff that is really going to help you significantly increase your business. So that is, so drop a 4 in the comment if you're interested in that. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me, private message me. I've been talking on Messenger a lot lately with people. Feel free to reach out to me as well if you prefer that method, and I can get you more information. So anyway, that sounds good for now. Hopefully this was good for everybody. I think I've been going for about 40 minutes or so. Again, just some kind of thrown together stuff, but this is part of my obsession that I've got now, is I love really focusing on what are the steps, and I kind of am to a point, and I'm not a saint by any stretch, but doing things that are fundamental, because I've contributed to the kind of flashy objects. I used to do Google Hangouts training. I used to, webinars. I still do webinar stuff, which I think webinars are a great strategy, but not everybody even is completely ready for that at some point. And so I'm trying to go even before that for a lot of people here, and really dial in what you should do. So I hope this presentation was helpful. I'm going to leave the replay up here for a little while in the group. I'll continue to share insights in this group. Again, this is a bit of an experiment. I'm sort of in the dream up phase of a new project. So I'm just booking calls. I sent out an email, and I got about 8 calls booked this week for people that are interested. So if you are interested in getting help with this, it's going to be a reasonable cost. It's not going to be a gouging job or anything like that. It will be a paid cost, but it'll be eight focused weeks. We'll work together. We'll craft your high-end offer. We'll help you sell that offer, and you'll have a really pillar foundational piece in your business that's going to help you grow, significantly, because you'll be able to bring in more cash quickly. You'll have a new offer you can sell that, is going to do well. So anyway, that's it for now. I guess I'll go ahead and stop the sharing here, and that'll be it for this broadcast. Again, I'll probably do these here and there as well, just to kind of keep engagement with the group. I've been more of a text person lately. I know if you don't know me, I've been doing videos forever, since 2010. I was doing YouTube videos in the healthcare space. So I've got over 1,000 YouTube videos. And I was a huge video guy for a while, and I still enjoy video. But I've kind of been on a writing kick more. So I'll probably post comments and insights into the group here each week, and kind of go from there. So anyway, let me go ahead and stop this. Let me see here. Stop this broadcast. And yeah, that should be good. Let's see here. Stop streaming live. All right, everybody. I will talk to you soon. If you're interested in the 8-week profit sprint, just hit a comment 4 below, or just reach out to me on Facebook, and we'll see if it's a good fit. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.